How's everybody doing now? As Ms. Durkee said this morning, we're very excited that you guys are here. Um, I know you're thinking it's a bit narcissistic for him to hold on to that microphone because there's not as many of us now, but we're recording this. So the purpose of recording is so that if we hire anybody mid-year, which we have somebody here that started with us mid-year last year that never got to do this. So we're recording this so that we can break this up into components to show later if somebody gets hired mid-year. So it's not an ego trip that causes me to hang on to this microphone, I promise. But guys, thank you so much for coming in and being here today. We're glad to have you as part of our family at Sand Springs. We're going to start just a little bit here and just kind of talk about your presenters. I will be presenting on several different things throughout the morning and the afternoon. But we'll also have Carrie Schlahuber, who's our Assistant Superintendent of Special Services. She'll be talking to you about some special ed requirements. Claudia Smith, who is our Federal Programs Director, she'll be talking to you guys about the Strong Readers Act. They changed RSA. If you're familiar with the Reading Sufficiency Act, now is it Strong Readers? Yeah. So it went from RSA to SRA, which SRA means something else to most of us if we remember that. So anyway, but she'll be coming in to talk to you about that. Cindy Stinson, who is our IT director, she's going to be talking to you about some of our technology resources available at the district. Mr. Roeder, who just left with the secondary crowd, he'll be talking to you about Infinite Campus today, which is your student grade book. And then Susan Cox is going to come by, and she's our McKinney-Vento homeless coordinator, and she's going to be talking to you about just some things you need to know about the law regarding homeless students. So, all right, and we're going to start with MobileMind. Here's the rationale behind it, and here's what it is. MobileMind is our district professional development portal, and it is a way that you can take advantage of training from your desktop, but also attend virtual events or live events like this one. Because of what it can do, it also allows us to track all of your professional development points. By state law, you're supposed to earn 75 hours over 5 years. So part of that are things like hazardous communications, bloodborne pathogens, all those fun ones that you have to do every year. How many people have already started their certified training for MobileMind from the state? So lots of fun things in there. If you have not started, I'll show that to you really quickly. I'll show you how to get there. But you can access, this says access via Clever. You don't have to use Clever. I need to actually take that out of the slideshow because that's not entirely true. You use the extension on your Chrome browser. So if you're looking on your Chrome browser, just like I said earlier when you were signing in, you just click that little extension right there. It's kind of hard to see it, but did everybody find it? Go ahead and open that up. And when you open up MobileMind, it takes you to a login screen, and if it asks you, if it says sign in with Google, just go ahead and use your Google account. We try as hard as we can to use Google as your single sign-on for most things so that you don't have to remember a million different passwords. So that's how you get into MobileMind to begin with. So from the MobileMind screens, everybody here, it looks like, from here, what you'll get on the front side is across the top, you've got some menus across the top. We're going to talk about those in a minute, but you'll start on the Learn side. I will come back to that, but the dashboard usually has some basic announcements that will stay there until they expire. One of those announcements is OSDE mandatory or mandated training. There is a separate link there for certified staff. If you click on the certified link, and you just come to a screen and it just sits there and spins around forever, that's because for some reason when your account was created in MobileMind, you didn't classify yourself as a teacher. So if you change your profile to classroom teacher or just teacher, that will work for you. If it still doesn't work, you can email me and I can fix it. It's pretty easy to fix. And then as soon as I fix it and hit save, you can immediately go back in and it should work for you. But when you get in there, the mandated training does track what you do. So, for instance, you'll notice that mine has several that are incomplete that I have not done, but it has some that are completed. I haven't started this yet, by the way. But there are things that the state only requires you to do like every other year or every 3 years or every 5 years. It'll track those. So if you did it last year and it was something you only have to complete every 3 to 5 years, it'll already show up as completed this year. So you don't have to do that whole list every year. There are some things that they say you only have to do every once in a while. Sorry about it, but bloodborne pathogens is an every year thing. I will say this, we had an older system called GCN. Is anybody from a district where you used to use GCN? There's usually one in every crowd, and it's horrible, isn't it? GCN is one of those things where it had slideshows, and you had to click through the slideshows, and if you got distracted on your phone, it would log you out, or you'd have to start all over, and it wouldn't let you take the quiz until you went through every single slide. This is different. It's one of those things where you can watch a video, but if you already know the information, you can go straight to the quiz and take the quiz. If you fail the quiz, you might want to go back and watch the video, though. That's why it's there. So it provides the training, but it affords you a little bit of an accessibility feature, and if you know the information, you can go straight to the challenge. But when you click on one, so for instance, dysgraphia training, it comes up. I apparently have taken this quiz and failed it. And that's because I was testing it out just to show you what it would look like. So if you take it and you fail it, you don't believe that? Okay. You can go back and watch the video, and then when you're ready, it'll either say start challenge or retake quiz if you've already taken it once, and then it opens up the quiz, and then you can complete it. So beyond that, other things that will show up in here, we have quick links to some of the things that you'll use all the time, some of the resources that I'll be talking about later. And there's also a little thing here that tells you how many courses you've completed. It's like a little mini dashboard to show like all your accolades and badges you've earned and things like that. You can even customize your own little profile, and like I have a bicycle in there because when it's not triple digit temperatures outside, I like to go ride my bike at Riverside, but that doesn't happen a lot right now. And then inside there, you'll also see upcoming events. So like tomorrow's back to school meeting shows up in my upcoming events because I RSVP'd for that event. There's other things that are in here. There's a new training that you probably got an email about that's required. It's the child sexual abuse prevention. That is something that's required by our school insurance group. So that's in there. It's not part of the state training. It's a separate requirement, or compliance piece. So that's why it's not in that same training. So that's your dashboard. The other thing that you've got on here are learning paths, earn badges, and explore. So MobileMind is not just about us. It's not just about our events and the things that we've got going on. There are learning paths in there so that how many people have been using Google Workspace for a couple of years now and you know how to get in and out and use, okay? Got a couple. Raise your hand if you've never touched Google Classroom or Google Forms or anything like that. Okay, so we've got some people. How many people would say on a scale of 1 to 10, you're like a 5 in terms of Google? Okay, so if you need some training, there's training available on almost every Google topic that you can think of. There's Google Calendar, Google Classroom, Google Drive, Docs, Sheets, Slides, Forms. So if you need to learn how to use those effectively in your classroom, these are geared towards a teacher crowd. They're not just something that's made up by another company that knows nothing about education. The people that make these videos used to be classroom teachers. Megan Huss, the lady that is our main contact over there, she's one of the teachers that you'll hear her voice in these trainings. She updates these regularly. So if Google releases an update to Google Forms and it's like a drastic change, she'll update the video immediately. So the trainings are updated on a regular basis. But there's other things in there as well. You'll also find some learning paths on Canva. We have a district license for Canva. Does anybody like Canva? Okay. Canva can be used to make graphics, slideshows, flyers, all sorts of different things. There's also a Google Certified Educator learning path in here if you want to get Google certified. It'll teach you the things you need to know before you submit a registration for that test. And then there's just other things in here like Google Meet. There's also some stuff in here. You just kind of have to search through it, but there's Newline training. So in your classrooms, I'm sure Cindy will talk about this later, but in your classrooms, you have a new line touchscreen. Has anybody noticed that big, giant hulk of a screen that you've got on there? That is a touch screen. It's a touch screen. So there's some training in here to help you understand how to use that that MobileMind has created. Some of them you can also earn badges. And then there's an Explore feature where you can just scroll endlessly through all of the offerings and just see the individual courses that are available through MobileMind. So there's lots of stuff in there. The next thing that you have across the top, this is your In Progress tab that basically tells you, hey, you started this. Do you remember that? You can finish it from there. You can just pick up where you left off. So that's your In Progress tab. It's just telling me that I failed dysgraphia and I need to go back. Then when you have the events calendar, I got to be honest with you, the events calendar is much easier to view from a day view. But if you see a day that's got multiple events going on, you can click on the little extra list and it'll show you all the things. So if you wanted to, like when you show up that day for an event, you just click on it and then you can put in the join code. In the case of these that are going on Monday, they are, like say for instance, you want AI in the classroom. If you click on that one, you can RSVP for that. Okay, that's how you sign up for those. If you don't RSVP for it, they won't have you on the list, and then you'll have to RSVP the moment that you get there. Back on the events list, though, I do say that it's easier to view from a day view. So if you go over here to the right, you can filter from like day, week, month, or just schedule. If you click on day, then you can tab forward, and let's say we go to the 19th. You can see all the things that are available on that day, on the 19th, at a glance, and you can look at those, and you can also RSVP for those. How many people like to attend workshops, like on your own? Like you have an organization that you just love to go to their conference every year, or you plan to go to certain things. Okay, so like give me an example. So if she went to that conference and she wanted to get credit for it, there's a request on the events tab. There's a request credit link that you can enter the title of the conference or workshop you attended. Now, contrary to what some people might think, I did have this when we first started this. Every time somebody went to a staff meeting, they would want to turn in the agenda for the staff meeting. That's not what this is for. This is for professional development. So if you attended a conference and you got a certificate that showed that you attended, you could put in the title, the day and time, and how long it lasted, and then you'll go through and it'll cycle through, and at some point it will ask you to upload a certificate. And then you do need to have either a PDF or an image file of the certificate to upload. But once you upload that, then it comes to my inbox, and then either me or my assistant, Jamie Wilson, will approve those, and then they'll go into your list of professional development hours. So there's also, from time to time, we'll have some things from, like to give you an example, the Tulsa Regional STEM Alliance. The Tulsa Regional STEM Alliance will have offerings that that we'll put on our calendar. So sometimes you might see recommended on there, or you might have some recommended things based on your role that you can look at, and you can take a look at and see what's available. I think some of these are outdated, and I thought they would fall off the calendar, but they did not. But these are good examples. So like this one, going back to the moon, train like an astronaut. This was offered last year at this time. It was a Tulsa Regional STEM Alliance event. If you were interested in that, it had all the information. And then if you attended it, you could come back and you could submit your certificate there. There's also a pending list of pending requests. So if you submit a conference for credit, you can go to the pending and see if it's been approved. And you can also look in the declined list. Why would we decline credit? We would decline credit if we can't view the certificate. So if the upload doesn't work and we can't see the certificate to verify that it was for an actual event, we would decline it and say, please resubmit. Or if you didn't attach something, we would decline it. 9 times out of 10, it's going to get approved if you upload correctly and it shows up. The only reason we might decline it is, like I said, we had some people that every time they went to a staff meeting at work, which is just a regular requirement of your job, that's not professional development, but it's just kind of need to know stuff, we wouldn't do that. So There's also a calendar integration feature in here that sometimes works. If you turn on the Google integration, it will put things that you sign up for into your Google Calendar. I have not noticed that this actually works with Fidelity, so I'm not real sure about that one, but it's there if you want it. So, and then the backpack. Can you hear me? Yeah, the backpack. So the backpack shows everything that you've ever done. Why would you need this? Well, sometimes if you just want to check to verify that you've done something, it'll show up in here. Sometimes, like maybe you're applying for Teacher of the Year, okay? You've been selected as a Site Teacher of the Year, or maybe you're applying for a grant and you need to show different things that you've completed, workshops that you've attended, or God forbid you're leaving us and going to another district. It allows you to print off a list of all of your professional development credit that you've earned with us. So you can either do that in a CSV file or a PDF that's available here. So, and then finally, there's a leaderboard, and it shows you like where you rank in terms of other people. Any questions about all these menus on MobileMind? I know that's a lot, but we had a system that when people completed things, they had to turn it into their principal, and then the secretary would manually input all of your hours, or after meetings where they talked about bloodborne pathogens. We had site secretaries that were having to manually input all of this stuff into our WinGauge system, which is what we used to use. So then if they made an error, it didn't get in there. Or if you forgot to turn it into them, it didn't get in there. But in this manner, if you're completing the state trainings this way, it automatically tracks it. And it's something that you don't have to go to somebody and say, can you give me a list of my professional development hours that I completed? You can get it anytime that you want to. So, any other questions about MobileMind while we're here?